VAR, Nat. I mean, we've got to get it out of the way before we can move on, but...
I agree.
Connor Cody, Bowen, Hickey, goal at Newcastle, Nico Williams' shot that was given handball. The list is endless today.
There are lots of managers, players and fans who probably were waking up this morning still angry about some of the decisions that were made in the games yesterday. 8 games, and in terms of notable incidents, I think there were 6 in those 8 games. None more so than at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 2, West Ham is how it finished. But West Ham thought they had struck an equaliser late on through Maxwell Cornet, which would have been a fabulous goal for him as well. But it was ruled out because of a foul that the VAR had alerted the on-field referee, Andrew Madley, to go and review the monitor. VAR, Jared Gillett, thought that Bowen had fouled Edward Mendy after he had sort of blocked a shot that then fell to Maxwell Cornet. Now, the issue was a trailing leg and potential contact. That is why VAR thought that Madley should review the incident. And in a brief sort of exchange, as Madley's looking over the incident, he agrees with VAR and changes that decision. Now, we saw how fuming David Moyes was after that one. He is partly blamed the fact that Edward Mendy has faked an injury just to try and alert the referees to something to try and, disallow that goal. It proved to be the case. I'm not saying that's what happened with Mendy, but that's what Moyes was suggesting. What did you make of that particular incident? Who is in the right there?
Well,
was it a foul or should it have been a goal?
No, it's a goal.
Yeah.
Gerard Bowen is going through on the keeper. I've been in that position loads of times myself. And if you don't jump over the keeper, you get hurt. Because keepers come out, they're always massive. They come out and slide at your feet. If you leave your feet on the ground, you're going to get badly injured. So you jump over the keeper. He stepped over the keeper. Mendy spilled it, maybe took his eye off the ball because he could see Bowen coming in. He spilled the ball. His trailing leg sort of touched his shoulder. And Cornet slots it in. It's a goal. But
you said there, and I mentioned trailing leg leg contact. Therefore, as devil's advocate in this one, I mean, in fairness, I've looked at it and I've thought, that's harsh. It's harsh to disallow that. Doesn't seem as though there really is a great contact in any way from Jarrod Bowen to have led to a goal being disallowed. It did come from a mistake by Mendy, ultimately, and that's why he finds himself in the position where he is on the ground and Bowen has to jump over him. But is that why Madley has decided that there is, because there is that trailing leg?
For me, Nat, right, VAR's there to help the referee get things right on the pitch, to help the referee get things right. Referees, when I played, didn't have any help. They just look through legs, think it was a penalty, but not seen it. Understandable. I've refereed football matches, training, for 15 years. I've refereed training every day. I know how difficult it is. Especially, all the players cheat, by the way. Or you haven't got no linesman on the training pitch, so you're just shouting, right, was it out, was it not out? So I've reffed the games, I know how hard it is. But I'm confident if I had 7 screens and I had 2 or 3 minutes to have a look at 7 different angles of an incident, because I've played football, I can work out what's happened in that incident. I'm confident I'd get one wrong in 50. I might get one wrong in 50. But to get them wrong every week, it's just ridiculous. I think it's because the rules, Nat. You know what you just said now? You just said something to me halfway through that thing about the goalkeeper, Mendy. Was the contact, you said. So what's the rule there then? Is it contact sport? Or is it not? Is it non-contact?
Well, this is the problem, because VAR has obviously thought there is an issue there. There is a foul that he has seen in the build-up to that goal, hence why he's told Madley to go and look at it. Because originally Madley has awarded the goal. That's the on-field referee. Now, we all know that there are many laws in football that are subjective. That is the biggest problem as well. We should say that VAR is not the issue in this. It is those who are operating it, who have their own decisions, who have their own views. This wasn't the only incident yesterday that has sparked debate. We saw the goal that Villa were disallowed, Coutinho, for a bizarre one, really, because we always know offside is factual. So how the assistant has flagged for offside when Coutinho was onside, for the whistle to then be blown and for the goal to be disallowed. Again, you'll find that Steven Gerrard will be angry with that one. We had the own goal by Crystal Palace that was disallowed in their game at Newcastle because VAR thought that Joe Willock had fouled Vicente Guaita, even though you can actually see that Willock is pushed into Guaita by Mitchell. But again, that was disallowed because VAR thought there was a problem.
I'm not just saying it's me. You would be confident, wouldn't you, if you sat in a VAR chair and you had 7 different angles to see an incident?
I've done it. I had an experiment at it because I got invited down to VAR at Stockley Park. And I have to say it's hard. There is, because you're expected to make a decision pretty quick. And I remember we were told, right, watch this, and what's the issue? Now, it was so quick that you're like, oh, I don't know what I'm looking at. Because you're not used to it, and I'm not a referee anyway, so I don't have that referee brain, if you like. So I'm not going to sit here and say, yeah, I'd get it right. But there were some incidents. I mean, I was at Brentford against Leeds. You mentioned Hickey. Clearly, Leeds should have had a penalty. I'm not sure why that wasn't given. But they took around 5 minutes to decide Brian Mbeumo's goal should have stood. And you could see very early on from even, I'd say, 1 or 2 replays that Robin Koch has clearly headed it on to play in Brian Mbeumo to make it an onside goal, having originally been given offside. I don't understand why it took as long as it did for that decision to be made.
Because I looked at it once and it's obvious it's come off the Leeds defender's head.
Yeah, exactly.
The Llorente, is it Llorente?
Yeah.
He's trying to play offside.
Yep.
So Tony's going for the header. Koch's going with him to try and win the header. And Llorente, his lazy defending, tries to step up. Instead of staying with Boma, he stepped up, but unlucky for him, it's come off the Leeds defender's head. Yeah, but
there's enough distance between Tony and the Leeds defender to see that it's quite clearly come off the Leeds defender as opposed to Tony. So why it took so long?
20 seconds, Nat.
Yeah, that was strange how long that one took for that to be awarded. But that wasn't the only incident. As I mentioned, there was that Hickey penalty that Leeds felt that they should have been awarded, and Jesse Marsch was given a red card after he remonstrated with the officials after that. We also mentioned that the Forest game, where the penalty that they were awarded late on in the first half, Michael Oliver had given that for handball by Lloyd Kelly. VAR actually told Michael Oliver to go and review it, and that was the only decision that the on-field referee stuck with yesterday. He felt it was a penalty, even though VAR clearly thought it's a bit harsh, that one. You might want to look back at it. But Mike Oliver was happy with it. And actually, maybe that's what we always want. We actually probably do want the on-field referee, don't we, to be making the decisions rather than being persuaded by VAR to, actually, you might want to go and check this once again.
No, I think it should help the ref.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
She should be talking to him. Say, I've given a pen. I've given a pen there. I've given a pen for handball. And as he's talking, he should have a voice in his ear up the other end saying, you better, well, Michael, I mean, he's very close to, Nico Williams has smashed it. The defender's turned his back. It's hit his arm. But you need to have a look at it yourself, maybe. That sort of conversation. But he's give a penalty. For me, that is up there with the worst, that decision.
Really?
Yeah. So the defender runs out to Nico Williams. You're taught to block shots. As a defender, that's what you're there for. Stop the ball going past you into our net. So go out and throw your body in front of shots. Van Dijk got slaughtered last week for not getting out to Sancho. Stood with his arms behind his back. Mm-hmm. Eric Dyer got criticised yesterday for not getting out to Mitrovic. When Mitrovic has bent it in the top corner, he stood and put his arms behind his back. So what are defenders supposed to do now then? Are they allowed to run out? Because your arms have got to go somewhere.
It did feel a little harsh on Lloyd Kelly for that penalty to be given. Ultimately, Bournemouth won that game in an incredible fight back. There will be more on VAR, but what I will say very quickly before we head to a break and start our review of yesterday's action, I still think there's a need to hear the discussions that are being held between VAR and the on-field referee, whether that's in-game or after the games, at least if we could hear the recordings. Because ultimately, and I go back to the Hickey challenge on Somerville, which, as I mentioned, Jesse Marsch was fuming about. If we had heard the discussion, either in real time or post-match, as to why they've decided not to give that penalty, we might still not agree with it, but at least we can understand the thinking process behind it. And, we can still debate it, of course, because that's football. We're still going to debate rules because there's so many subjective laws in the game. But we might still come away thinking, well, okay, we get why they've made that decision. Not happy with it, but at least we understand it. Whereas at this moment in time, we're still sat here scratching our heads thinking, well, why?
Do you know what clear and obvious means? I can't get it.
Well, again, that's slightly balmy, isn't it? Because you're right.
What is it? Clear and obvious. If you make a mistake, it was obviously wrong. If you make a little mistake as a referee, to somebody else, you were obviously wrong. To someone else, you're obviously right. So what does it mean? I don't get it.
Yeah.
You're either wrong or you're right. The VAR is to help the referee, but this is harsh, what I'm about to say. Some of the referees obviously don't understand football, and the VAR chair is exposing them. Because what are you looking at? Do you know what you're looking at?
I think that might be a little harsh, because I think laws are subjective. So your view on a foul might be different to my view on a foul, especially when we're biased. I'm not saying referees are, but as fans, we're biased towards our team. So in the game yesterday I was at, I thought there were some fouls that I could have gone Brentford's way that didn't, and vice versa, I'm sure, for Leeds. So that, I think, is the biggest problem,